back. It's been a while, a good month, since I've made a video on this channel because I've been so busy and behind with everything. Yesterday, what I did was, let me get the camera here. The other day I did a bunch of epoxy work and filler primed these table bases. These are for like a stand-up bar that's like 20-some feet long. So these are pretty big. So what I did was I epoxy primered the bare steel. After I sanded it down, I did some mud work because there was a seam in the steel where, like this, there was a seam like this. So I had to fill those in on the sides and on this side here. And then they obviously put these on the bottom side, which you're never going to see. So I filled those in. So I epoxy primered the bare metal after I sanded it with 80 grit. Then I filled it in, and then I 2K primered it, sanded it yesterday. I went ahead, and this has a coat of epoxy primer on it. Now when you put epoxy primer on it, you have 72 hours to put your base coat on it before you have to recoat the epoxy primer. So I went ahead and epoxy primered it, and then I took some satin black and just painted the bottom sides. This is going to be sitting on the floor, so you're never going to see it, and it's not going to matter. So now I need to rotate these over on these carts so that we can paint the rest of it. What we're doing with the rest of it is we're painting it black, and then we are putting a pearl over top of it, so that it's going to give it like a blue iridescent look, because they're trying to match some tiles that they have. And I just so happen to have a pint of this Nissan Pearl White. So this is what we're going to use over the black. I already did a test sample of it, and they're okay with it. They like the color, so that's what we're going with. So we're going to put down a solid black base coat. So once I flip those over, I need to just tack cloth them off, and they're ready to go. They've already been waxed and grease removed and all that stuff. So once they're flipped over, they're ready to go. And this is the black I'm using. This is just a straight GM black. And that's just a cheaper base coat. Works really well, actually. All the walls are done. So the walls are leaving tomorrow, and so are these. So it is like 7 o'clock at night. I've been gone for 14 hours. I had to go to Michigan, pick up some arcade cabinets and back. So I've literally been gone since 5 in the morning. I just pulled back in at 7 o'clock tonight. And I need to have these painted. I'm going to have to bake them really good tonight, so that tomorrow they can be handled and moved. But these are all the walls, all ready to go. They've all been built, sanded, stained, cleared with satin clear. Then I sanded the satin clear, and then I re-cleared them with satin clear, and they turned out beautiful. I mean, it's a really, really smooth, nice matte finish. So tomorrow we got to build some braces to put on the backs of these on angles, and then we need to wrap them all up, get them in the trailer, because they got a trip all the way down to Miami, which is, I think it's about a 20-hour drive. So hopefully they make it there and they don't fall apart or anything, because all these little spindles are just held together with a 1/4-inch glued wooden dowel in here. So hopefully by bracing them and everything, hopefully the bouncing isn't too bad and it'll be all right. So what I'm doing is I'm heating the booth up, because I've been gone all day and it's now 50-some degrees outside and the metal feels cold. So I'm trying to warm up the metal. I'm not trying, I am warming up the metal. It still feels pretty cold to me. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these flipped over off of camera, and then we're going to tack cloth them off, and we're going to start putting on the black base coat. I don't know what that was, a bug or something. We'll get the black base coat on. As soon as the black base coat sets up, we'll be ready to put the pearl on, and then we're just going to do 2 coats of clear. We're not going to go crazy with the clear. I'm not wet sanding and buffing them, hopefully. Hopefully they just spray out nice, and I won't wet sand and buff them. We're going to use a different clear for these, because I use this clear on some other stuff, and I'm just testing it to see if I like it. It is it's a Speedy Coat clear, and so far I like it. I think it works really well. It's SMR 1150 is the part number on it. I don't remember what it costs. I've had it sitting around for a while. I bought it a while ago, meant to use it for something, and I never did. So it's another good chance to test it out by spraying these parts with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those flipped over, and then we will get out there and get the black base coat put on. Okay, we're gonna mix up some base coat here. It's a 1-to-1 mix. Hopefully 2 coats should be all I need. Hopefully the spray gun works. I was clearing those walls out there, and I put it in the gun washing cabinet to rinse it, and it was going and everything, and it sounded fine. I wasn't paying attention. Well, the thinner can, what happens over about 6 months period, this gun washing cabinet holds a 5-gallon thinner can in the bottom here. So what happens is when you run it, it pumps it through this little hose right here into the system, and it washes the gun. And this is the return hose here, so it sends all the crap and dirt into here. And there's a sock on this part, on the intake line, and it keeps it from sucking metallics and grime back up into the thing. So it runs off of air. There's no power involved on this, it's just straight air. And there's a air line right here, and then there's a regulator on the wall, and then it's piped into my air dryer over there, and the air dryer is also piped into the booth spray hose. So it was going and it sounded fine. Well, it wasn't spraying thinner because it was at the bottom of the can. So that sat overnight with clear in the gun. So I took it apart and cleaned it up. I didn't go crazy cleaning it because I just didn't have the time. So if it spits and sputters and screws up, I might have to grab a new one for tonight out of one of these boxes and take that one apart really well and clean it better. But we'll see how it sprays. Might be okay now, I'm not sure. So I want to get this done so I can eat something and go to bed. But yeah, this has to be done tonight. I don't have a choice. It's leaving, like I said, tomorrow, and then the beginning of the week it's heading to Florida. So I'm probably gonna have to bake the crap out of it for a good half an hour, I'm gonna say. And I believe this clear, I think it's 140 degrees for 20 minutes. Bake time. 5-minute purge. What that means is you have to let the clear dry for a minimum of 5 minutes before you start cranking major heat onto it. I'll probably let it go for 10 minutes. So basically, I have the heater going right now. I have it on full blast right now. What I'm gonna do is, let's see what the temperature is in here. It's at 90 degrees right now. I'm pushing it. I'm trying to dry this quickly. So right now it's running with the exhaust fan going. I'll let it run for 10 minutes with the heat going and the exhaust fan, and then at that point I'll turn it off the exhaust fan and it'll start building heat until we get to what does this want to be at? Bake dry 30 minutes at 130 degrees. Usually when my little thermostat I have on the wall over here reads 130 degrees, it's about 140 degrees in there because it's so far away from where the heat source is. There's a little bit of discrepancy, but we're probably going to just crank this thing at 140 degrees for a half an hour and just let it dry. It's not, I don't think it's going to hurt it one bit. And we're only going to put 2 coats of clear. I'm hoping for 2 coats of black, and my spray out was 1 coat of pearl, because I think if I do any more than 1 coat of pearl, it's really going to make the color look weird, because it already changes the color of the black completely. I mean, it turns it into like a midnight blue / gray, and it just has this cool, it has a pretty cool look to it actually. You guys will get to see it. So like I said, we're going to mix this 1-to-1. I'm going to use an older paint stick because this isn't going to matter because it's black paint. Try to use these old ones up as much as possible before I throw them away. And then like this right here is clean, so we'll use this for the clear. And these lids have a filter in it, so it's going to catch any debris that I should get. What am I looking for here? Oh, you know, I'm a little tired, so a little out of it. But everything gets picked up tomorrow. next week I'm going to start on the dually again. So that once that dually gets finished up and out of here, I'm going to move 2 cars up front, and then I'm going to be focusing on making videos of me finishing half of the back building. So there's going to be probably a month, probably honestly, once that truck leaves, probably up until Christmas, I'm going to be working on this back building back here, getting it completely done and ready to go. And then at that point, we'll jump on I'm bringing the 73 Mustang convertible up here and the 59 Impala hardtop. They're both coming into the front shop. I'm going to stick the 59 Impala hardtop in the spray booth, and we're going to put the Mustang where the dually is over there. And then I'm going to start working over here, and when I have time here and there, I'm going to be jumping across and working on the Mustang. And then once this is done, I'm going to take that Mustang and I'm going to put it in this first bay over here. Then I'm going to take the 59 and put it where the Mustang is, which is where the dually is, and start finishing the bodywork on the shell of the Mustang. All the other parts of the 59 Impala have their first paint job. I'm doing 2 paint jobs on the car just to get it really straight, and it had to sit for a while. The guy didn't have time for the car. Some things came up, family things, so he didn't have time for the car for a while. I had all the parts in bodywork, and they were sitting for a while, and they actually started rusting because I did not put epoxy primer over my 2K primer. So I actually was sanding them down to do another coat of 2K primer, and I found little rust spots on the bare metal where I had sanded through. So I literally stripped every single part down to bare metal again and started over. Re-bodyworked everything, epoxy primered it, 2K primered it, blocked them down, and then I sprayed all those parts with single stage Battleship gray paint. So then I knew that I wouldn't have that issue again, because it's a little moisture back there because I don't have concrete yet and it's not a finished environment. So I know all those parts are good now because they are in paint, but the shell of the car is going to have to come over here, strip it down to bare metal, start over with that as well. But it is what it is. Things happen, and we're going to get through it, and it's going to be an awesome car. I just used this paint the other day to do the spray up, so I didn't stir it a ton because it feels good on the bottom. It's not clumpy or anything like that. All right, let's go out there and blow this first coat on, and you'll get to see this cheaper paint. It's called High Tech. I think I ordered it off of eBay. You know, when I'm using black and stuff for like engine compartments, door jambs, underneath the car, inner wheel wells, stuff like that, I just go with the cheaper base coat. It doesn't matter. It's getting clear over top of it, which is a UV protectant anyways. The only thing that you could run into an issue with cheap black paint is it could look brown in the sunlight. So you got to be careful of that. Some black paints will be like a dark brown in direct sunlight. This does not seem to do that. But there are some that do that. Like, I know for sure the original Omni black used to do that. They used to turn brown, but I'm pretty sure they fixed that. Right here, I'm just showing the pressure that I'm spraying at, which is 29.5 psi. Filter's really dirty. It's taken a while to get the overspray out of here. But see how light I put that on? The reason why I'm putting it on lightly is I want it to go on lightly because I want it to dry faster. If I go loading it on there, it's just going to slow the drying process down. So this is another way that you can fudge stuff and get stuff quicker, is by putting on thinner coats. I'm probably going to end up having to do 3 coats by doing it this way, but I think in the end it's going to dry quicker. And because it's a solid color, it's not going to matter that I'm putting it on like this, a little bit blotchy, because once it's covered, it's covered, it's going to match. If it were metallic, we'd have to do it differently. We'd have to treat it more like a car paint job. When we do the pearl, we'll have to do that. I'll probably touch the air pressure up a tiny bit more, and we'll thin it out a little bit more and get it to get a nice, even, good coat on there. So I'm going to mix up a little bit more black. There's still about a half a cup full in there. I'm going to mix up some more. I'm going to do that off camera, and then we'll go put the next coat on. I've been doing some editing on my other channel videos, so what I'm going to do is these spraying processes, I'm going to speed them up a little bit, maybe play a little music, and it'll just make it a little bit quicker so that you can kind of, you know, I'll probably go 10 times over on speed, which isn't super fast, but it'll take, you know, 5 minutes of spraying down to a minute and a half, maybe, you know, somewhere around there, which makes it a little bit easier rather than having to fast forward or stop or get annoyed and quit watching it. Now I am applying the second coat of black. After that, I ended up doing a third light coat, and then I was ready for the pearl. Okay, black is all on. Now I am getting ready to put the pearl in the gun once the gun gets done washing. I just want to put one even coat on, and the more I think about it, I'm not going to put it on real heavy, because I did not put it on real heavy on the sample. I forgot about that. I kind of just misted it over it. So I just want to try to do a nice even mist pattern over it. Maybe I'll go both directions, just kind of get it going, and then after that we'll be ready to clean the gun and put 2 coats of clear on it. So should be good to go here. This is already reduced into the quart, or into the pint, because it had about a half a pint in there, so I just topped it off with reducer. Okay, we got one good even coat on there. You can see how it kind of made it look like dirty almost, like grayish, silverish looking. See that? But once we put the clear on it, it'll change. So we're going to mix up the clear now. It is once again, it's a 4-to-1 mix. We're not going to put any reducer in it. You can put up to 10% reducer in it. I'm going to keep it thicker. Now the first coat we're going to put on a light coat. Second coat we're going to put on a good medium coat, just to try to flatten it out, let it flow out a little bit. We could put a little bit of reducer in the second coat if I wanted to. We'll see how the first coat lays out. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to hammer the first coat on real thick. Put it on light, get it sticky, get that second coat something to stick to. Using a slow reducer. If you notice, I didn't paint that bottom side of the bar with pearl. Nobody's ever going to see it, or the top of it either. This we need to slow down a little bit and get it to go on relatively smooth. It's 100 degrees in the spray booth right now. I'm sweating my butt off. So that's 100 degrees with the heater going full blast, with the fans going full blast, and all the intake filters are open on the booth right now. So it gives you a good indication of how well that heater works. It's 53 degrees outside right now, and it's 100 in here with full air movement. That filter's a little clogged up, so that slows the air movement down a little bit. But when it's 30 some degrees outside, I shut half of the intake booth filters and I only use half of them. It takes a little bit longer to exhaust the fumes, but at 30 degrees outside, I can usually keep the spray booth between 70 and 80 degrees. So that gives you a little indication of how that heater works. It works really well. It's a little on the hot side right now to be spraying clear, but I'm using slow reducer, so that is definitely going to help the process a little bit. I think we'll be just fine. The parts are not huge. So on this, I'm going to do all the sides, and then I'm going to hit the bottom last, because there's going to be a bunch of overspray that's going to fall to the bottom of that, and I want that to be smooth down there, because that's going to be one of the most visible spots. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry for about 10 minutes. And then we're gonna hammer on a real heavy coat, actually, because that metallic pearl stuff is kind of thick. Might have to do 3 coats of clear, I'm not sure yet. Hoping to get away with 2. We'll see what happens. So I'm gonna top this off. Probably gonna go through 1 cup per table legs on the second coat here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this ready, and then we're going to go out there and put the last coat on, hopefully. Okay, they're done. There's some dirt in the bottom here. Got a little dirt going on down there, so I'm going to have to wet sand and buff that out, because that looks like crap. It's going to come out. It's not going to hurt it one bit, but you can see that there's some little dirt nibs there, so I'll just wet sand and buff those out tomorrow. But here's what the color looks like, that black with the metallic over it. I don't know if I can get a good view of it here. Kind of see it. A little bit of orange peel. I might knock down the 3 outside edges in that base down there. There's a little dot right there. I dripped some sweat, but I didn't touch it because it was on the top coat. And once that dries, I'll just wet sand it out. But that's pretty much it with these. Nothing real fancy. Just needed to get them done. They're drying right now. I have the heater on. It's about 115 degrees right now. So I'm going to let it warm up to 140. Then shut it down, and that's going to be it. So thanks for watching, guys. Like I said, there's going to be more videos starting up again. Want to get that dually finished up, and then after that, we're going to be working on the back shop. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys later.